Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and in meta news, and unfortunately we got to talk about the Facebook parent company. They once again are showing us why they need to be shut down. Now, we are coming into an election year here in the United States and other places around the world in 2024 that is going to basically see an explosion of disinformation thanks to generative AI. It's now more than easier to basically fake things, and with the rise and improvement of things like deepfake audio and video since the last major election cycle, at least here in the United States, this is getting worse and worse. And Meta is about to make it 1,000 times worse, because here is what happened in the last few days or so, and this is coming from Wes Davis of The Verge as a backdrop, because Meta has reportedly broken up its responsible AI, known as RAI team, as it puts more of its resources into generative artificial intelligence. Now, the publication known as The Information broke that news the other day, citing an internal post at Meta that it had seen. Now, according to the report, most RAI members will move to the company's generative AI product team, while others will work on Meta's AI infrastructure. The company regularly says it wants to develop AI responsibly, and it even has a page on its website devoted to that promise where the company lists its pillars of responsible AI. Those include, for the record, accountability, transparency, safety, privacy, and more. But when you cut the team that is supposed to be enforcing those, where are you left? Now, Meta's AI communications representative, Nisha Dio, talking to The Verge in an email, basically said that the change is intended to aid in the development of AI features, but the company will, quote, continue to prioritize and invest in safe and responsible AI development, end quote. I've got a lot of thoughts on that. Nisha, I don't think you're being honest, or maybe you just don't know. Now, Dio also added that members of the RAI team are now in the generative AI organization. They will, quote, continue to support relevant cross-meta efforts on responsible AI development and use, end quote. Now, the team already saw a restructuring earlier this year. I talked about it back at the beginning of the year, which Business Insider wrote included layoffs that left the RAI team a, quote, shell of a team, end quote. That's what I talked about, because they're not the only ones, to be fair. Twitter, now X, now whatever Musk is going to call it next week, is doing the same thing, as well as some of the others. Now, the report went on to say that the RAI team, which has existed since 2019, had little autonomy, and that its initiatives had to go through lengthy stakeholder negotiations before they could be implemented. And that is something, for the record, that I've also talked about at length as well. That whistleblower Frances Haugen basically blew the lid on that essentially they were developing tools that could combat a lot of things like disinformation or the issues we have with teens in terms of depression, and basically they did nothing. That Mark Zuckerberg himself personally overrode a lot of these things in the name of profits over the safety, quite frankly, of all of us. And I've talked about that at length as well. Now, RAI was created to identify problems with its AI training approaches, including whether the company's models are trained with adequately diverse information, with an eye toward preventing things like moderation issues on its platforms. Moderation issues. Now, automated systems on Meta's social platforms have led to problems like Facebook translation issues that caused a false arrest, WhatsApp AI sticker generation that results in biased images when given certain prompts, and Instagram's algorithms helping people find basically child sexual abuse material. These are the problems that we've got. Now, here's why this is an even bigger issue that we've got. They are going to continue to develop at breakneck speed artificial intelligence. They have done very little to moderate or lay all of this back down in terms of having teams look at the damage this is potentially doing. Remember, Facebook caused a genocide in Myanmar by allowing disinformation on the Rohingya Muslims to go absolutely wild, to the point where they were literally being murdered in the streets. And they don't have a team that is responsible for this. A responsible AI team is simply that, is an autonomous unit that has autonomy to review and essentially understand how the AI is being developed, where the pitfalls are. It allows it to test it independently. If they're integrated into that team, they are beholden to the leadership of the development team as opposed to a responsible leadership development. So this is a huge, huge problem. This is gonna get 1,000 times worse, and this is an issue that I think we're gonna see, and Facebook is gonna make this 1,000 times worse. And so by virtue of that, they should be required to have there should be a legion, an absolute legion of employees looking at how they fix these problems, even if it affects the bottom line. Because quite frankly, as they have used their algorithms and their AI to prioritize anger and everything else on the platform, we are left holding the bag. We are seeing what anger is happening. We're seeing the rage in society right now that is being fueled by the social media platforms. Look at any US election we had before the explosion of social media. We were pretty cool with each other. Now we're not. And this is a direct result of essentially this, prioritizing anger to get people all riled up, and then you're letting foreign information walk all over you, and you're doing virtually nothing. And now the responsible AI team is completely cut, as opposed to just deeply, deeply slashed, which was horrible back then, and worse even now. So screw Meta, screw Mark Zuckerberg. That guy needs to be in jail, and I can't believe we let this go on. So there you go. That is your Meta news of the day. Quite frankly, this company sucks.